Hello there. Welcome to the first and quite possibly only episode of, wait for it, Electric Reading. Yeah. My name's Matt McGrath. I'm from the band Electric Eden, and we've got an exciting week ahead. Our single, Grace Darling, is being released on the 20th of January. And I wanted to take this opportunity to basically read the story behind the song. Most great folk songs do have some sort of folklore story behind them. Not all of our songs are based on true stories, but this one is. And the story of Grace Darling is a well-known one within folk singing and folk artists and folklore anyway. So it's not a story that this isn't the first song to be about Grace Darling, and it certainly probably won't be the last either. But we did our own take on it, and in light of the fact that this story is a lovely one and it's a well-known story, just in case you didn't know about it, I'm going to read it for you from the book The Fabled Coasts, Legends and Traditions from Around the Shores of Britain and Ireland. This is written and collated by Sophia, Kingshill and Jennifer Westwood. It's a wonderful collection of stories, should I say. And Grace Darling just happened to be in there. And it's what I used and we used to start putting the lyrics together for this song. So I'm going to read this accompanied by myself on the guitar, and just to give some sort of instrumentation inspired by and along the same lines and the chords of the actual song itself. So give a little bit of a, I guess, sound of the song behind it. Okay, so let's get going. Grace Darling, situated at Longston Lighthouse, Northumberland. On the 5th of September 1838, the Forfarshire, a passenger steamer, put out from Hull on her way to Dundee. She was in an unseaworthy condition, and as the weather grew worse over the next 2 days, she found herself in serious difficulty. Forced to put back from Berwick Bay, she tried to make her way between the Farne Islands, but at 3 a.m. on the 7th of September, at the height of the storm, she struck the Harcar Rock, about half a mile from Longston Lighthouse. Some of the crew took to the lifeboats. Most of the passengers were asleep when the steamer struck, but a Mr. Rutland Ritchie of Perthshire arose instantly and, seizing his trousers, rushed upon the deck. From whence, observing the sailors leaping into the boat, he, with an extraordinary effort, by means of a rope, swung himself into it, and was then miraculously preserved. His uncle and aunt too tried to get into the boat, but fell into the sea and were drowned. Near the Harcar Rock runs a tremendous current known as the Piper's Gut. Struck by this current, the Forfarshire broke completely in half. Her stern quarterback carried away with everyone on it, including the captain with his wife in his arms. A few passengers were now left on the rock, crying for help, but with small hope. And now one of those heroic actions occurred, which, for their romantic daring, are remembered for generations with admiration, and produced a burst of enthusiasm throughout Europe for a humble girl who performed it. From her bedroom window, Grace, daughter of William Darling, the lighthouse keeper, saw her pathetic figures clinging to the wreckage. She and the father set out from their small boat, and while William landed on the reef, Grace rowed to and fro among the crashing waves to keep the craft from being smashed to pieces on the rocks. 9 people, all that remained alive of the original 60 or so, were taken off, and the Darlings took care of them in the lighthouse for 3 days until they could be ferried into the mainland. The details are taken from an account written in November 1838 and printed later on with Grace Darling's obituary. She died later on at the age of 25, less than 4 years after the wreck and rescue that made her a national heroine. Her exertions on the night of the storm may have injured her health, and so too may the fame that afterwards pursued her. She was feted in poem and song. Her portrait was painted. She received many proposals of marriage, all of which she declined, and she also refused to appear at the Adelphi Theatre in London. A modest woman, she might well have shrunk from her celebrity, which led to the most extravagant eulogies. Had Grace Darling lived in the remote ages, her obituary enthuses, such heroism as hers would undoubtedly have been deified. It concludes more soberly and truly, as it is her name even now will scarcely ever be forgotten. It's a lovely story, and we hope that our single does it justice. The single itself is out on the 20th of January on Spotify, iTunes Music, YouTube, everywhere basically. It will be available, and we hope you enjoy it. Do let us know what you think, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers, guys.